You didn't just come here to remember. You came here to reunite. You've felt it, haven't you? That silent pull within your chest, a memory that doesn't speak in words but in symbols, in water, in light, a longing no map on earth can satisfy, because it's not a place you seek, but a timeline, a frequency, a forgotten knowing buried deep within your soul. That knowing has a name, Lemuria Atlantis, not myths or stories, but soul memories etched into your DNA. You didn't read about them, you remembered them. And with that remembrance came a shift, because it wasn't just a civilization you recalled, but a connection, a vow, a sacred thread spanning lifetimes, linking two great spiritual continents, not through geography, but destiny. Lemuria and Atlantis were never enemies. They were complements, counterparts, two halves of a divine breath. Lemuria holding the heart, Atlantis holding the mind. Lemuria whispering through water, Atlantis speaking through stars. The feminine essence of intuition and communion, mirrored by the masculine spark of creation and brilliance. In the beginning, there was harmony, a world where nature was not conquered, but communed with, where telepathy flowed and crystals sang, where children learned to listen to Gaia, not systems. Atlantis, too, began in light, sacred geometry, quantum healing, star wisdom. But slowly, the head forgot the heart, structure forgot spirit, and unity gave way to division. That fracture lives in you still, the inner tug of war between softness and strength, feeling and logic, flow and form, because you were there. You walked those lands. You made vows in those temples. And you return now not to suffer but to heal, to reunite what was split. You are the bridge, the soul who carries both memories, and thus your awakening is deeper, sometimes heavier, because you're not healing just your life, but weaving two lost worlds back into oneness through your presence. This connection isn't a relic, it's alive in your choices, in the way you cry for the earth and reach for the stars, in your desire to build only what your soul can fully inhabit. You are not alone. There are others like you, souls who came not just to remember, but to rebuild, to restore the original blueprint, not by escaping the past, but embodying it with love. Lemuria fell through grief, Atlantis through pride, and you rise through remembrance, carrying both the ache of Lemuria's silence and the fire of Atlantis's vision. Not to choose between them, but to unite them within yourself. Lemuria teaches you to feel, Atlantis teaches you to create. Together they teach you to awaken. And when you live from that sacred center, the world begins to shift. You soften, you listen, you build with care, becoming the embodiment of a healed timeline, the memory made manifest, the reunion incarnate. But that reunion calls for courage, to walk as both light and depth, to choose gentleness in a world of force, to create from stillness and lead from the heart. The bridge is rebuilt not through ruins, but through you, the sacred architecture, the living vessel of remembrance. The Akashic field holds both timelines, and when you enter it, you don't just find knowledge, you reawaken codes. Lemurian codes of emotional communion, Atlantean codes of sacred design, and when they meet in your body, your voice, your work, you become the new continent, the soul continent, where the two lost worlds finally come home. Let this truth rise in you. Let it echo in your bones. You are not just a seeker, you are the rememberer. You are the rebuilder, a spiritual descendant of two mighty lineages that still speak through your soul, not asking for perfection, but for wholeness, to stop dividing yourself between what was and what might be, and to begin living from the eternal wholeness that always was. The remembrance is here. The reunion has begun. And you are its living breath. You've walked through lifetimes carrying keys you didn't know you held, not keys made of gold or crystal, but of vibration and memory. Your soul has always remembered something others forgot, and now it's time to use those keys, not to unlock the past, but to open the future. You see, Lemuria and Atlantis were never meant to vanish. They were meant to evolve through you. The fall of these ancient civilizations wasn't just a tragedy. It was a prophecy, because nothing truly ends. It transmutes. What was lost in form returns in spirit, in code, in consciousness. That's where you come in. You are not a historian of these worlds. You are a vessel, a breathing continuation of what they stood for before distortion set in, before Lemuria was swallowed by the waters, before Atlantis was consumed by its own fire. Their energies are not separate timelines. They are dimensions within you. Lemuria lives in your sensitivity, your empathy, your instinct to commune with nature, with animals, with silence itself. You feel the pain in the earth's body like it's your own, because once you lived in complete harmony with her breath. You remember what it was to walk barefoot through sacred groves, speaking to the trees like sisters. You remember the soft light of the crystal temples, where sound healed and vibration taught. You remember the tears that came, not from suffering but from awe. Atlantis lives in your brilliance, your hunger for truth, your obsession with innovation and sacred knowledge. You dream of energy that heals, structures that sing, frequencies that awaken. You speak the language of numbers and stars, of form and structure, because once you helped design blueprints for temples that could bend light and hold the codes of the universe. You remember what it was to sit in circular chambers, mapping the stars with your soul tribe. You remember the pride and the fall. And now here you are, on Earth again, living in a world that forgets both truths. A world that has become loud, fast, fractured. But deep down, you haven't forgotten. You carry the ache of Lemuria's loss and the weight of Atlantis's ambition. And this time, your mission is not to repeat their fates, but to integrate their gifts. You are here to midwife a new civilization, one that remembers the heart without abandoning the mind, one that builds but only in service to the soul. This is the Sacred Convergence, the reunion prophecy. You've met others like you, haven't you? Souls who don't quite fit, who cry when the wind changes, who dream of building schools made of light. You recognize each other in silence, in the way you speak less, but feel more. You don't talk about Lemuria and Atlantis just to sound mystical. You talk about them because they live in your bones, because something inside you demands their return, not as replicas, but as resurrection. This return isn't about recreating ancient systems. It's about embodying the energies that made those civilizations divine before they fell. Lemuria teaches you to listen. Atlantis teaches you to act. Together, they teach you to create with love. The new earth that is coming, slowly, silently, surely, will not belong to those who dominate. It will belong to those who remember. And memory is your superpower. Not just memory of who you were, but memory of what is possible. Memory of the divine blueprint, of what it feels like to live in balance, in reverence, in sacred reciprocity. This is not fantasy. This is encoded in your spiritual DNA. You are the prophecy awakened. You are what Lemuria prayed for as the waters rose. You are what Atlantis dreamed of as the towers fell. You are the living bridge. And here's the truth no one told you. You don't have to wait for the new earth. You are here to become it. It begins in your breath, in how you speak, in how you hold space for others when they forget who they are. Every time you choose compassion over control, you restore Lemuria. Every time you choose purpose over power, you restore Atlantis. Every time you walk gently but powerfully, your words rooted in truth, your energy clean, you become the continent, not of land, but of soul. And the more you remember, the more others do too. Because remembrance is contagious. When you awaken, your vibration becomes a tuning fork for those around you. You remind others not with your words, but with your presence. You don't preach Lemuria and Atlantis. You are Lemuria and Atlantis, healed, whole, reborn. And yes, there will be moments when you forget, when you feel lost, fragmented, too human. But even then, the codes don't leave you. They simply go quiet, waiting for your return. Return to stillness. Return to reverence. Return to the part of you that never left. Because this isn't just about remembering ancient lands. It's about reclaiming your soul's deepest agreement to help humanity evolve through love, not domination, through presence, not performance, through wisdom, not noise. And as you walk this path, know this, you are not alone. There is an entire soul network rising quietly, steadily across the earth. Artists, healers, architects of the unseen. Many have no words for what they carry, but they feel it. And together, you are restoring the forgotten bridge. The time of separation is ending. The old timelines are collapsing, and something ancient is stirring in your blood. Can you feel it? The song of the waters, the hum of the stars, the silent promise echoing from lifetimes past. We fell, we rose, we return now, not as fragments, but as one. You are the return. Let it guide you. Let it humble you. Let it light your every step. Because you were never just here to remember. You were here to rebuild, to become what was always meant to be, a soul alive with the memory of two worlds and the power to weave them in two.